All right. So I think this is our third practice, our third and final practice for the second section. We are cruising along here, and let's begin with a little singing. I think we did do this one once before, but I always think of this chant this time of year. We're going to be singing Ru'Allah, which is one of the Arabic names for Jesus, the Prince of Peace, breath of Allah. So we're going to be singing Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah. We sing that through 4 times, and then there's this other part. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. And we'll go back to the Ru'Allah, Ru'Allah. Then there's a third part. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Ru'Allah. So we'll just kind of weave through all those different parts. And maybe just as we're doing it, watching our breath. Here we go. Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah, Ru'Allah illallah, la ilaha illallah. Prince of Peace, shine your light, Prince of Peace, shine your light, guide us through the dark of night. Ru'ulaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Ru'ulaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Ru'ulaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. Let's go on the breath. Ru'ulaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. 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 Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. Ru'ulaha illallah, la ilaha illallah. 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 So let's put Ru'ulaha on the in-breath, Illallah on the out-breath. Filling ourselves with the breath of the Prince of Peace. And then let's let go of the mantra and just breathe for a few moments with the atmosphere. Amen. So let's move right into Pure. And if you feel moved to, you can join me in doing some movements. You can either do whatever I'm doing, or you can just let your body move. I find that when I do the prayers and I do some kind of movement with them, it just helps. It's like doing a dance, just brings it in a little bit more. So let's connect with our breath and connect with the spirit of guidance in a way that we have experienced in our lives or that we hope to experience. How that might be for us. So we'll breathe in together. Inspirer of my mind, consoler of my heart, healer of my spirit. Your presence lifts me from earth to heaven. Your words flow as a sacred river. Your thought rises as a divine spring. Your tender feelings awaken sympathy in my heart. Beloved teacher, your very being is forgiveness. The clouds of doubt and fear are scattered by your piercing glance. All ignorance vanishes in your illuminating presence. A new hope is born in my heart by breathing your peaceful atmosphere. O inspiring guide through life's puzzling ways, in thee I feel abundance of blessing. Amen. So let's move to the invocation. I'll recite it once, and then anybody else who wants to do it, just go ahead and raise your hand, and then you can unmic yourself. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the mystery, the spirit of guidance. Yasmin?
Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the magic, the miracle, the Mother, the spirit of guidance.
Thank you. Anybody else want to add their voice? Maybe then I'll just do it one more time to make it 3. I like that number. Toward the One, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty, the only being, united with all the illuminated souls who form the embodiment of the Master, the spirit of guidance. Amen. One thing I thought I would share tonight, some of you have heard this, maybe some of you have not. In my exploration of the Aramaic for the word for master, I stumbled upon some really beautiful meanings, and it's kind of like for a lot of us, when we come across the word for sinners in the Hail Mary prayer or the word evil in the Lord's Prayer, sometimes we have to kind of wrestle it for a while to find our way into maybe what the original meaning was about or what the new meaning for ourselves is about. So I just wanted to share this lyrical etymology that I wrote for the word master in Aramaic, which one of the words is called Moran. 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 On the surface of this word, we meet a title, Lord or Lady. This honorific label designates nobility in the grandest sense and points to the one who brings bread, who brings sustenance, whatever nourishment the body and soul needs in any moment. It speaks to a certain level of capacity and responsibility. When we dive deeper, however, we catch a glimpse of a very different aspect of the sacred, an embodied ray of light, which catches our attention without any resort to reason or logic or shoulds. Like lightning, or the flash of a hummingbird's wing in the sunlight, we are struck with a powerful kind of holy beauty, a luminosity and heat that touches our hearts directly, intimately, and reminds us of the sacred. This light causes our hearts to expand, not through learning or thinking or being told. It might even happen by being surprised. But the deeper meaning of this word points to a much grander thing, which includes all of these aspects and more. Moran is a kind of nobility of seeing. And this seeing, this capacity for illuminated sight, is like a powerful light that pierces the intense darkness of things like shame and fear, and is able to touch the soul so that its own nobility can return, can be reignited and remembered, can find its way home from a state of wandering or diaspora, where it has been disconnected from its source in the holy. This kind of healing sight can restore wholeness to the being. Our imaginations are set aflame, and a type of awakening is summoned. We are called to attention, to action in a direction toward our own innate sovereignty, our truest inner authority, our purest desire for a liberty that is not above or separate, or that comes at the cost of the other. Remembering that we are all queens and kings raises the nobility of life and our duty to be of service. We bow in reverence. So, for whatever that's worth, let's recite together 101 Ya Rakibs or Ya Rakiba. We're going to begin the way maybe some of us do wazifa practice, to begin full voice, as loud as you like, and then slowly letting the voice become more and more subtle, softer. Instead of projecting outward, allowing this energy of Ya Rakib, this unlimited radiance that gives form, a place to gradually, creatively grow and be reborn, this loving awareness, this curious, caring sense of awe, can begin to be more directed inwardly, and then we'll go on the breath for a little bit. So let's just take a few moments here before we begin the practice to settle, to connect with our breath, just to notice the state that we're in right now. Maybe taking a little notice of the state of our mind, of our heart, our body, of our breath. So let's take a breath in Ya Rakib, 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 Ya Rakib. Let's go on the breath. And now let's let go of the mantra and simply breathe with this gentle awareness, shining it upon whatever arises. And now let's let go of the fikr and just allow our breath to return to its natural rhythm. And we're just going to go straight into our next practice. We're going to go into a version of the elemental breaths practice. So let's continue to breathe a relaxed breath. And we're going to bring in the awareness of ether or space. And so this first part of the practice will just simply be an open exploration of the mysterious breath of ether. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This breath is very subtle. It may even be imperceptible, almost as if we're breathing in and out through every pore of the body. Ether is the luminous container of space, of stillness. Maybe we reach out with our awareness or our imaginations and we feel the pure potency of this etheric breath, which draws directly from emptiness itself. There's a fullness of luminosity, of life energy. So maybe as we're breathing this breath, even though it's subtle, we might begin to feel this luminosity, this potency entering into our being through our breath. And then as we exhale, we might also feel that luminosity blessing the world through our out breath. This is a breath of mystery. We can even place the mantra Hu on both the in and out breath to take us deeper into this etheric breath. And just notice if the mantra of Hu supports or helps in this practice, or whether it pulls your concentration away or it doesn't work. And then we're going to let go of the Hu on the breath, and we're going to come into the elemental breath. So we're going to try something. We're going to chant Yahak 33 times, and then we're going to go into the breath of earth. Then we're going to chant Yahwahabo 11 times and then go into the breath of water. Then we're going to chant Allah Nuri, bringing in the light. Go into the breath of fire, and then Allah Ruhau of air, going into the breath of air. So we're going to begin with the earth, and we're going to chant Yahak, O truth. Yahak. Yahak. Really feeling the sounds in our bones. Yahak. 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 Breathing in and out through the nose, the breath of earth. Concentrating on the qualities of solidity, stability, loyalty, and service. Feeling our own unique earth as we breathe. And we can visualize this breath of earth as spreading out on a horizontal plane, kind of a flat breath, a downward kind of breath, but then spreading out. Let's just take a few more earth breaths, letting ourselves deeply connect with this earthiness of form, of our form. And now we're going to move toward the breath of water, and we're going to chant Ya Wahabo, this ever-flowing Holy Mother waters. Really allowing ourselves to connect with the sounds themselves. Ya Wahabo, 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 Ya Wahabo. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Concentrating on liquidity, ease, heart feeling, really feeling that downward motion of the water breath going back into the underground waters. Feeling that energy of release and flow. Let's take a few more breaths of water. And now let's come to the breath of fire, and we're going to chant Allah Nuri 11 times, calling in the light, the heat. Allah Nuri, 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 Allah Nuri. The breath of fire, breathing in through the mouth, breathing out through the nose. Concentrating on the qualities of warmth and creativity and power. Feeling the upward movement of this breath of fire. Let's take just a few more fire breaths. And now let's come to the breath of air. We're going to chant Allaha Ruhau. 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 Breathing in and out, a very refined breath through the mouth, but also through the skin. Concentrating on the qualities of freedom of movement, intelligence, humor. This breath is refined and simply responds to inner freedom. Couple more air breaths. And then let's let go of the air breath. And we're going to come into the prayer of Niyaz, and we're going to take time to breathe in the magnetism of the all-pervading space, the rays of the sun and the waves of the air. Beloved Lord, Almighty God, through the waves of the air, through the rays of the sun, through the all pervading life in space. Purify and revivify us, and we pray, heal our bodies, hearts, and souls. Amen. So I thought maybe we would take a few moments for any check-in on homework, on any of the practices, on any of the readings. I was just going to share something that I've been doing just after I said I wasn't going to do it. I thought, well, maybe actually it would be a good idea to set an alarm that basically kind of roughly correspond to the 5 times a day prayer. And when that alarm goes off, it reminds me, oh, just check in with my breath, see how my breath's doing. And so the first day I had the alarms on, and it was helpful, but I didn't really like the jarringness of the alarms. So then I decided, oh, I'm going to just connect it to 5 different activities I do during the day. So like, my morning tea, my lunch at noon, my, just various things throughout the day, and that's worked a lot nicer. It's not as jarring, it's more natural, more gentle. But I have found that it's really been nice for me to intentionally connect with the state of my breathing at least those 5 times a day. If I, maybe I'm doing it other times, but anyway, for whatever it's worth, I'm starting to enjoy it, just like I did when I first started doing the 5 times a day prayer. I don't do the 5 times a day prayer at this point in my life, but for the periods of times that I've done it, I've really enjoyed that experience of having my everyday life where mostly it's my personality, my ego, driving what I'm doing throughout the day, to have these punctuated places where my spirit gets to come in, my heart gets to come in, and it somehow softens the day. So, how's everybody doing? I'd love to even hear just, there's no compulsion. You don't have to share. You could even just say, hey, I'm doing great, or I'm not doing so great. I don't feel like talking. Just an opportunity to be with the group. So, anybody feel like sharing or saying hi? Yep. Go ahead, Yasmin.
I did watch the recordings for the 2 meetings I missed, and I just watched the most recent one. And I wanted to thank you for everybody who shared. It was really, really sweet. I really, really enjoyed it. And the only thing I wanted to share about my breathing practice is I have not been noticing myself not breathing,
Mm-hmm.
which was what was happening when I first started.
Mm.
I would experience an unpleasant feeling and I would realize, oh, I haven't been breathing. So that hasn't happened in a long time. So I
Alhamdulillah.
feel it's progress.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And did you send out a meeting for the half meetings, the rest of the half meetings, an email? So are you going to do that with our dates or?
That's a great question. Yes, just before we got onto the meeting, I found the half point dates, and I will send those in a meeting, in an email.
Okay,
Um, yeah, and I will say that I have another time in February. I'm going to be in Mexico for a couple of weeks. I believe I will have internet connection. I will have my phone, so it's possible we will be able to get to do a halfway meeting one in February, but it might end up being a little bit like the one we had when I was in Utah. But thanks for asking that question.
All right, good. I'll look forward to those.
Could
Because
you
I,
remind me, is your name with a hard J, like a Jasmine or a Yasmin? Jasmine.
Jasmine,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Tasneem gave it to me.
All right.
When I moved to the Rouhaniyat, I requested that we switch to English just because I felt like I could use it more with people who weren't Sufis. So
Yeah.
that's the story there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful name. Anybody else?
I'll drop in. This is Nura Abigail, and I'm coming in from a big month of holding space while my son has gone through top surgery and being very on as a mother and doing a lot of grief work. And so I've been leaning into the prayer of healing quite a bit and playing around with it and expanding it and going, as deep as in just lots of different directions with it. Again, my practice happens late at night usually, and so my breath work, it's interesting. I'm doing less breath work and more prayer work. And so I feel like I could use more direction around how to connect with breath during the day, during the busyness of my day, because I'm just not pairing it with my prayer work. And I am going to have to leave in about 5 minutes, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Wow, that's big work, sister. Wow. Well, how did that resonate with you, the suggestion I was talking about pairing the breath check in with, like your cup of coffee or your cup of tea or your lunch or your every time you get in the car or something super practical?
I think I drink a lot of tea, and so it might be that just becomes part of a tea practice for me. Even, for Christmas, I could get myself a cup that just says breathe on it so that I can remember that that's like a structure to help me do that because I do drink a lot of tea.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. When I used to do lucid dreaming practice, I used to make these little cards and I would set them around the house and it said, "Are you dreaming?" It could say, "Are you breathing?" So, one would be in the mirror in the bathroom and one would be by the sink or on the refrigerator or something. So, yeah, just whatever you can do without it, becoming annoying or too much, I think would be great. Wow. Thank you for that. Jasmine?
Before Abigail goes, I'd love to share my inclusive version of Nayaz. Beloved One, Almighty Goddess, through the rays of the sun and moon, through the waves of the air and sea, through the all-pervading life in nature and space, purify and revivify us, and we pray, heal our bodies, hearts, and minds. Blessed be.
Beautiful. Thank you. And so let me just say, I know Abigail's going to leave here in a minute. We will start heading into the third section. So you can, if you haven't already, you can start to do that for next time. Ruth Mary, yes.
Do you have a password for that, for the third section? I've been having trouble getting into even the first and second anymore with the passwords I have.
Yeah, the answer is yes. I can, I can go ahead and send those out to everybody.
That'd be good. That'd be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, it's in one of the printouts that we got, and it's always related. Like the one we just had was, Ahad and Samad. The next one's gonna be, I forget what it is, but I'll just send those out to everybody because it's a real pain in the rear end when you can't get in.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, please do send them, because like I said,
Okay.
I've been trying, and I've been trying to go back into some of the second lesson, and you gave me whatever it was, the password for that one. But then the second time I tried it, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't take it. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, if at least if I start from the beginning with with the third class, maybe it'll stick somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there was some problem with the website recently.
That could be.
To my knowledge, it's been fixed now, but just keep trying. We just came out of Mercury retrograde too, so that was probably affecting it to some degree or other, I would imagine.
I also want to thank you for this 5 times a day thing, to set something up for myself. I appreciate that. I hadn't thought about that because
mm,
I know I haven't been checking my breath. I've been through my dearest and oldest friend, we've been friends for 50 years, is in the dying process. She probably only has a couple more days, and her daughter called me to let me know, and another close friend is really on the edge of something or other that the doctors can't figure out. So I've been more worried about them than I have been about staying with things. But anyway, I thank you. This 5 times a day thing will be helpful. I know it will.
oh, good. Yeah, and just remember, the real beauty of forgetting is then we get to remember again, come back in again, and start over again. And, you know, things are supposed to break, we're supposed to go off um, our rhythm, and then we get to come back on. And, the quicker we can have compassion for ourselves, just the easier the whole thing's going to be. And blessings on your friend and all those who are in the throes of crossing the threshold. This is one of those times of year where it feels like there's a lot of people exit. Um, yeah. Latifa, Tara, anything from your gallery over there?
Well, I feel like there's a lot going on, but I don't want to get into like the personal drama specifics necessarily, because I don't know that you might get to hear it, but I don't think that everybody necessarily needs to hear it. But I feel like things are shifting and changing in ways that are very much a matter of grace as opposed to matter of accomplishment, And I'll just say, for all I know, I've said this again, my mind's going, so for what that's worth, everybody will have to bear with me, through these coming years. But like a child, I am just loving being around lights in this dark time of the season. And for most of the past 10 years, I've been in Florida, and I've been outside playing, and in Disney World, the Florida Country Club world, where you get to be in the sun and be outside and be like a child in a certain way. And it's been very interesting returning to the cold, which isn't nearly half as bad as some cold I've experienced, but it's like, oh yeah, this monster, you're not really so bad if I bother to put on my coat. And I've been walking around my neighborhood, and a lot of people have lights on their homes. And I've been, I want lights in my home now. I want a Christmas tree again. So it's like it's not going to happen this year, but next year, watch out, you know. But there's just a certain kind of, you know, it's very simple. It's not esoteric. It's not anything except the rhythm of life and the heat and the cold and the dark and the light, but feeling myself immersed in it and engaged in a certain way.
Mm.
So.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Well, let's end reciting the Surah Ikhlas together. The great mystery of Allahu. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Kul hu Allahu ahad. Allahu samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yaku lahu kufuwan ahad. Amin.